I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. I love how it looks. I love how it looks. Oh, yeah. What's going on, everybody? In this episode of 30 Minutes of Power, Nicole and I are going to share with you three things every future boss must do in order to succeed in 2025. This is 30 Minutes of Power. That's what we're going to start doing when we start our podcast. Are you guys excited? I'm excited. So
I
excited.
love it.
I'm just trying to help my my podcast editor not not hurt me too much. Like, how do you
I
want me to
love it.
start? Like, that's how you start right there, brother. Um,
Yes.
what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another lovely episode of 30 Minutes of Power, TOP, your one-stop shop for all things encouraging, entertaining, and motivating. Talk. I love how it looks. I love. This is what happens when you have a lag in your home office. I'm at home, people. It's 12
Yay!
o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, yes. Welcome to the new time of 30 Minutes of Power. Super excited to have you all here with us this afternoon. I'm Joe. We probably look a lot more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed than we usually do because it's not 8 at night
Yes,
after a whole
absolutely.
after a whole day. But yeah, welcome. Nicole Salter, Jory O'Neill here, and we are ready to pour in and share with you three things that every human must master if they desire to be a boss in 2025. And I say boss, I don't necessarily mean like CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I mean, if you want to be the master of your time, you want to be the master of what you got going on. This is definitely an episode worth listening to, worth sharing. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, please. Thank you so much. Share this out to all your friends if you get any value from it. And we're gonna jump right into it. Nicole, good afternoon, friend. Love
Good
that afternoon.
afternoon. Welcome to afternoon meetings from home. I just want to say I'm so happy. I'm so proud. You are such an inspiration. Even talking earlier about your goals and everything, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get on the bandwagon. I don't know if my goals are that
You've
high.
been on a bandwagon. I'm trying to catch up to you. You've been an entrepreneur. What, going on 6 years now?
I have, and I mean, it is not an easy journey. It is worth it when you look back at where you've come from, and where you're growing to go and what your goals are. Like it's very rewarding when you see that your
Mm,
hard work is paying off, right? Your hard work doesn't necessarily pay off when you work for someone, because I've been in that sector too, where I've worked hard and I thought I did things the right way and followed things by the book. And then, your supervisor or your director is like, I saw what you did, but I didn't really like it. And you're like, what do you mean? I was up until midnight working on this. And yeah, but I don't like it. Right. So I've been on both sides of the spectrum. And when you see that, um, when you are your own critic, right? You're your worst critic, but when you are your own critic, you figure out how to make it better, and it becomes more rewarding. When someone else tears you down, it for me at least, it takes longer to come up. So, being an entrepreneur is a journey, a good one, but it is a journey. Um, and you know that I am here for all of your ups and downs and all around. And with the mindset that both of us have, I know we're gonna make it work. So I'm not worried at all. I am very excited for all of the stories that we are going to share with each other. And I'm very happy for you. Yay!
I would be happy too if my computer started acting properly. that would make me ecstatic. I'm like, is this what happens at 12 o'clock? Like everybody's on
You
their
know what?
laptops and computers and freezing and buffering. Um, yeah, I listen, it is not for the faint at heart. I've been on calls since about 10 o'clock this morning
Yep.
and more calls when this is over. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what God will do with my yes.
Amen.
But let's jump into this. Three things every human should do if they desire to be a boss in 2025. First thing, Nicole, you go ahead. You go ahead and lead this. I'm gonna enjoy my 12:30 life.
Well, what brought this conversation on, right? And this conversation is pretty much about handling your mindset. A lot of times our mindset comes from what other people think of us. It doesn't come from what we think of ourselves, but it comes from what other people think of us, what our children think of us, what our spouse thinks of us, what our parents thinks of us, right? Like when thinking about this whole topic, I was thinking, what was one of the first words that my children learned when they were learning to speak? And it was no, because children love to explore, right? They love to explore, they love to touch, they love to feel, they want to see what everything is. And a lot of times that can lead to danger. And so if you're a parent that is, focusing on like what you pour into your children, sometimes you'll realize that you say no a lot.
Hmm.
Because in a house there are so many things that can be dangerous for a child, right? Like they even something as simple as a lamp that is not bolted to the floor. If they touch it the wrong way, the whole thing can fall on them. If the bulb is glass, it can break, it can shatter. It becomes a whole debacle, right? And so thinking back, I'm like, man, I told my children no a lot. Like the parent that I was before I had children is not the parent that I am with children.
Wait a minute. How does that work? Because before you have the children, you're not a parent.
It is real, right? So short story, before I had children, I was like, my kids will never go to McDonald's. Like by the time my children were 3, they probably knew how to spell McDonald's. Okay. Um, and it's just sometimes the way life works. Like you have different things that you plan for before the event happens. When the event happens, your plans will alter. How much will they alter is up to you. My plans kind
I,
of alter a lot because some things I just don't have the fight in me for. So I am more of a, you don't want that today? All right, we'll go with the flow. What do you want? And then some days I'm like, you don't want this today, but I'm not cooking anymore. So this is what you're going to eat, or you're going to be hungry. Choose one, right? So it just depends on which battle you want to pick in life, which battle you want to choose. Mindset is a battle that we have to always deal with, whether it is coming from outside sources or it is coming from inside your head or it's coming from decisions that you made in the past that now affect you, right? You always have these different things that work with your mindset. And so the three things that we have to talk about. Number one is acknowledging your feelings, which is a big one because a lot of people sometimes suppress their feelings and they try and push them to the back and they don't deal with them, and then those feelings start to come up in other situations of their lives. So
so how do
acknowledging
you
your
deal with your
feelings is big.
feelings?
First and foremost, if someone tells me that I did something wrong, I question myself. Did I do it wrong? Did I do it wrong intentionally? Did I know that it was wrong when it was happening? When did I realize it was wrong? Was it really wrong? Right? If my husband comes downstairs and he says, you forgot to put the clothes in the dryer and now my clothes are all moldy. The first thing in my head, the first thing I'm like, did I forget? Did I look at it? Was it laziness? Was I busy? Did the kids pull me away? Like, how did we get here? What brought us to this funky clothes situation? Right? Like darn it, why did I not put on a timer? Did I remember to put, like, how did we get here? And that's something that I like to do whenever I'm in a situation where something is going wrong. The question is, how did we get here? What was the root cause? When did it start? That's how I begin to deal with my feelings, because I need to know what my feelings were when it was, like, was it a bad day? Was it a good day? Was it a busy day? I mean, I make mistakes, right? I just want to know where my mistakes come from so I can start to fix them so they don't happen often or they don't happen again.
I like
And
that.
so
I
that's the
think
question that you have to ask.
I think for most people, acknowledging their feelings would mean that they would have to stop long enough to identify that they have a feeling at all. I know working in a school system uh, for the last 2 decades in every school system, Catholic, charter, public, private, um, it's busy. You're always doing
Very.
something. It's always go, go, go. And as a mom and a teacher, it literally from the time my feet hit the floor, it's go, go, go. If I don't get up early enough to sneak in some time with God, sneak in to exercise, then as soon as they get up, I become mommy this, mommy, where is this? Can I, where? And then going from there into traffic in New York City, I'm sure you probably don't miss New York City traffic, but it's a hot mess. And then going into a classroom with 30 children who have their own baggage, right? They have their own mornings, they have their own commutes. And so all their energy is permeating. And then I have to endure multiple sessions of this, of this same energy. And
Yeah.
then you leave, you go back into the traffic, you come back home, right enough time for your kids to come off the bus. And then it feels like the cycle starts all over again. And by the time that they go to bed, by the time that their heads hit the pillow, I'm like, the last thing I want to do is think about how I feel. Because at this
That,
point, I feel tired. That's how I feel like. But
that is
it was a
fair.
necessity. It was a necessity for me to make sure that at the beginning of every day, I reflected on, okay, what is important? What is going to ground me? What's going to get me through the day? What am I here for? Why? Right?
Mhm.
In framing my mindset, and that kind of leads us into number two, but framing my mindset at the beginning of the day and then reflecting at the end of the day. On who said what happened, if I had goals or tasks, did I accomplish them? If not, like what the purpose was. So I'm with you with that one. Just it sounds like you like to go back and reflect on the what's in the house and the whys.
I do. I like to blame myself and then uh I can't think of the word, but I like to say to myself, you did this, it was your fault. Wait a minute, hold up. Let's check. Let's make sure before we take on the blame, right? But like I can remember at a closing, we have different addendums that we send out. Some we keep in-house and some we send to everybody else. One of the addendums got sent to everybody else. And of course, the opposing side, right? The seller's agent is like, this is your fault. This is your team. And I said to her, and I knew it wasn't my fault, right? But I said to her, listen, these people really want this house. I am not, I'm not calling you to point blame or point fingers. I'm calling you so we can work together to figure out this problem. Because if the house doesn't get sold, it's on both of us. We're supposed to work together, not apart. So, how are we going to fix this problem? The problem is here. I don't care who did it. Let's fix the problem. And eventually, after we closed, she said, you know what, Nicole, I did not notice how your office operates. It was my fault because I changed the document. And, I had a little pat on the back, aha moment to myself, right? Because I knew what went down. I knew that I was making sure I crossed my T's and I dotted all of my I's, right? And sometimes I dot T's and cross I's, but that's a whole nother story. Um, but in this particular case, we did not have time to point fingers. I had already done all of my reflections. Where did we go wrong? How did we get here? it served no purpose, right? When you are reflecting on yourself, yes, do those things. When you have to deal with someone else, fix the problem. Just fix it, you know? And so I don't think a lot of people have that time to reflect and to figure it out. Me personally, I do a lot of it in the shower, right? Um, I do a lot of it when I am aimlessly scrolling through Facebook or TikTok or whatever it is, right? Unless something that I want to build comes across, then all of those thoughts go out the window. But I find time whenever there's a situation to reflect and figure out what is going on. I know in the past, like a lot of people used to say, you know, you can ask yourself questions, but if you answer yourself back, that's when you're having a problem. Answering yourself back is a good thing.
No, I love answering myself.
It
Sometimes
is
I'm
a
like,
very good
this is
thing.
this is such a beneficial and educational conversation that we are having with one another. Thank you, Jory. Oh, well, no, thank you, Jory. Oh, well, no, I do declare, right?
Yes. Yes. Like I like to tell myself during the day, I'm Nicole Salter, right? But at nighttime, Mrs. Salter is going to tell Nicole Salter what to do the next day. So at nighttime, Mrs. Salter is like, yo, you need to check with these people. You need to check this. You need to make sure your kids did this, make sure your husband did that. And in the morning, I'm like, oh, Lord, I got a list from Mrs. Salter. I better get things together. I got to get the move on it. you know, because having those two different personalities, the one that is very organized and very together, and then who I actually am, are important because one is going to keep the other one in check.
So you said that, but I don't think you necessarily because I don't want listeners to be like, oh, she has bipolar. Like, no, she's not schizophrenic. She don't have multiple personality disorder. Um, I want to say that she's using a very loose example of what it means to almost like reframe. And that's the second thing you have to do. You have to reframe your mindset. So if you are a disorganized person who lacks the ability to follow through, execute at certain deadlines, then you may need to put on a different persona, right? So to speak. You may need to kind of look at things through a different lens so that you can get things done. For me, I am Jory all the time. I had a very troublesome youth of lying to people quite often. So I try to keep it a buck. Sometimes it's too much of a buck for some people. But I am always Jory. There are bits and pieces of me that I lean into. So I'm gonna say maybe 2008, 2009, I started going to therapy and I got some diagnosis. I don't like sharing them. I like telling people my business. But y'all here, so y'all listen anyway. So I have OCD and little ADHD, right? If you ever met me, I think you figured this out already, but I don't hate those parts of me. I used to be ashamed, right? I used to have a lot of shame around like labels. Now I'm like, I'm gonna lean into this OCD
Mm-hmm.
because the OCD part of me gets things done.
Yep.
We have structures, we have systems. The ADHD, we all over the place. We creative. This like, oh, squirrel, and we off to races. But if I continue to lean into the OCD, she sets up structures, habits, routines, systems. And I'm like, all right, all over the place, Jory, just fall into the system. My coworker, Alice Brown, she used to be like, stick to the script, just stick to the script. And literally, I get up in the morning during that quiet time before my kids get up and I create a script for my day. Some people call it a task, some people call it a routine, some people call it a to-do list. It's a script. At this time, we're going to do this and we're going to say this. Stick to the script.
Stick to the
Yesterday,
script. I like it.
yeah, I had a coaching call last night. And then I had a couple of pitches, getting some clients, some book writing clients. And I was leaving a voicemail for one of them because we kept playing phone tag. And the first voicemail was all over the place. I was like, yeah, because like, and you be, we, it's, maybe Writing books, you know? Like, and thank God, like you get the option to be like, do you want to? They was like, do you want to send this? I was like, no, let's try again. And then Jory was like, stick to the script. You got a script? Stick to the script. So
Yeah.
I read the script and I was like, okay, I feel good about that message. I feel good. So yeah, stick to the script. Reframing the way that you're thinking about things, even no's, right? I'm starting to see no's as like not nows. So when I call people and I'm like, hey, you want to write a book? Yeah. Okay. You want to work with me? Sure. How much? And I tell them the price. They're like, no. I'm like, well, it's no for now. But that's not a hard no. It's just not now. It's okay. I'm okay with not now. They're like, no, no, no.
Right.
I said no. I said, I know what you're saying, but this is what I heard. I heard you say not now. And so literally I waited like a month later and then I reached back out and I was like, hey, so you want to write a book? And they were like, yeah, let's talk. It's like, see, it's not a no. It's just
It's not a no, it's a right, it's a not now, right?
yeah. And
Yep.
so, reframing the way that you think about things, even the example you gave at the beginning, Nicole, about our children hearing the word no so often when we're little, um, I think we hear that and we're conditioned to believe it from little, from young,
Yeah.
unless we reframe our minds to receive the no as a not now. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like even sometimes when I ask God for things, I'm like, God, should I do this? And he's like, not now. Like, I rarely hear like I really got a definitive no. There have been times where I'm like, okay, God, I want to do this thing. And he's like, yeah, no. And I'm like, is that a not now? And then I keep going. And he's like, no. And I'm like, are you sure that's not a not now? And then like I get sick, the venue gets flooded. Like it's like so much stuff happens. I'm like, oh,
That was the no.
that was a no? Okay, okay. No,
That
no.
was the no.
But reframing your mindset, I think it's powerful. Like if
It
you
is.
can master that, getting control of your finances, your time management, your emotions, it becomes so much easier when you can master your mindset. I feel like a journal or book coming on, Nicole. We're gonna have to write that down. Master your
Oh,
mindset. Okay.
it sure is. It
We
sure
got
is.
that.
Definitely.
It's in a catalog now. It's in a
Yep.
catalog. Wait for it, people. Wait for it. May 2025. Master your mindset. It's coming
Yep.
soon.
Coming
Um,
soon.
and number three, let's land this plane. Tell you the third thing you need to do to ensure that you are a boss in 2025.
Focus on growth and not perfection. Focus on growth and not perfection. View your opportunities as challenges rather than no's. So that goes into that not now part, right? The opportunity, it might not be right now. In real estate, we call that nurturing. You might need
Mm,
to nurture this person, send them a few articles, send them a few gifts, or send them some valuable information for what you would like to do, right? Again, in real estate, we call that nurturing. And so sometimes people will say, "Hey, I want to see this house. Did are you pre-approved? Did you get your money together? No? Okay, then it's a not now." Because once you get all of your paperwork done, this house ain't gonna be here. Right? So you want to see
that
that
part.
you're not ready to buy because you didn't do the steps that you needed to do to move forward. So it becomes a not now, right? And a lot of times the not nows, we just cross them out, right? Don't focus on crossing it out. Focus on moving to the next level. If you send an email and someone opens it, right? That no becomes a not now because clearly they're still interested. If they weren't interested, they would have deleted your email.
Right.
But they are now interested in what you have to offer, right? And so, Jory, in your sector, you are coaching people on how to open up about their lives and write about their and write about themselves, right? Tell their stories. And so you send out an email to that person that said, no, I don't know. Your price is not no. All right. I'm gonna send you an email. They open your email. Oh, why did she open my email? She's still interested, right? If you're not interested, you're not gonna open it. All right. Let's see what happens next month. Let's see if she's gonna open up another email. Email number 2. Ooh, she opened this one 4 times. It's not a no, right? And you celebrate those small wins. Ooh, she opened my email, right? And then
I think progress looks very similar. I think in both of our lanes.
absolutely.
We call it nurturing as well, nurturing the lead,
Yep.
and the outreach sometimes doesn't look like necessarily an email. Sometimes the outreach is, why don't you come and join this workshop, right? During winter break here in New York, for anyone who's interested, and there'll be a link in the show notes of this episode, but I'm doing a 5-day challenge, absolutely free. It's the same 5-day challenge framework that I've been using for the last 3 years to write my book. It's the same one I helped my first client write their book. Same one I just used for my most previous client, who book just came back from the editor Saturday. So it works. And part of nurturing that is sharing with people, regardless of, there's no price tag attached to it. It's free. Free is free, right? People understand free. But it's a 5-day challenge, and if you don't show up for the 5 days, then you won't get the benefits of the actual framework. Like it's pretty simple, right? So
Right.
if people they have objections. They have objections about houses, they have objections about neighborhoods, they have objections about prices, they have objections about time, right? I
Yep.
don't have time to see your house, or I don't have time to write my book. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to celebrate the progress of you showing up to an open house. That's progress. Maybe you don't have the time to go and see multiple houses, but if you go to a neighborhood that you enjoy, you go see an open house, that's progress. Maybe you
Yep.
don't have time to write the entire book, but if you come to a free 5-day challenge that will take you literally 20 minutes of your life, 20 minutes a day for 5 days.
Yes.
I don't know if your math is mathing, but that's less than 2 hours of your life
Yep.
to learn how to do this thing that 81% of Americans say that they would like to do, right? Which is write a book. Nicole got her books. I got my books, right? Nicole's teaching her children how to write books. I'm teaching my family how to write books. My son, my husband, and my daughter, they're both right now making comic books, right? Like we is not part of the 81% who want to. We are part of the 1% who are doing it.
Yes.
And so my invitation is to anybody who wants to be part of this 1% club. I'm gonna call it a 1% club now, moving forward. That's another book. We should write that book, 1% Club.
Ordered
Uh,
over.
yeah, part of the 1% Club. Just all you have to do is show up 20 minutes for 5 days. It's an email course. It's an email challenge. You don't have to skip your lunch. You don't have to stay up late. You don't have to figure out time zones. You get an email sent to your inbox every morning. You watch
Hmm.
a video, you do the exercises, do the worksheet, and you get the growth. That's it. And so progress sometimes looks like taking a chance, looks like taking a risk. And I think that's something that you've continued to do and you've continued to exhibit and model, Nicole. And I applaud you for that. I applaud you publicly. I want to give you your flowers now.
Yeah.
You are a very big risk taker.
Whew.
Your courage over the years has really called me higher and called me forward. And so I appreciate you, friend. I appreciate that's the example that you've been setting. And I want to do the same now. I want to trust in God. I want to trust in the plan. I want to celebrate the growth over the perfection. I want to continue to shift my mindset to making no's just not now's. And I especially want to take time to reflect on how I feel. And I feel like we are out of time today, friends. We're out of time. But it doesn't have to be the last time. If you enjoy
Absolutely
what you
not.
heard, go ahead and share with a friend.
Yes.
Push the like and subscribe button. Come and see us back here next week, 12 o'clock afternoon, Eastern Standard Time on a Tuesday.
On a
On
Tuesday.
a Tuesday. Top on Tuesday. Top on
Tap on
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Woo!
We gonna get a new theme song. It's gonna be great. I'm excited
Yes.
about it. But we enjoyed our time with you today. Pray that you are an empowered person who is using your power to empower others. Until next time, people. Peace out. See you next time.
Bye.